Hi, this is Ashley Swartz. I'm here for Beet.TV covering SMG Source's CES. I'm very excited tonight to be joined by Lisa Weinstein, who is the president at SMG of Digital Data and Analytics. Nice to see you, Lisa.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to see you.
So I would love to hear what you're excited about for CES this year. What are you looking for? What are you hoping to discover? What do you think is going to be the big topics of discussion?
You know, I think it's interesting because I think that there's kind of two sides of CES. There's the future and all of the, exciting new consumer opportunities with technology and everything from mobile to convergence to big data and all the things that we know. And then I think there's a side of CES that's kind of getting down to business. And so I'm actually excited for both because I look at this as an opportunity not just to get a glimpse into kind of the future and the opportunities, and we all know the future is, not 5 years, it's tomorrow, it's now, with consumers and what's coming, but also the chance to actually meet. Our business is still, people and relationships and working with our clients and working with publishers and technology companies, and so I'm also looking forward to having that other side of it, which is some productivity and business and getting things done. So
that's great. So I know that mobility is a big part of what you do, and I've read a little bit about a point of view you have about mobility being a state of being, an existence, sort of not necessarily just a platform or a channel. Could you tell me a little bit about that and how that's changing the lens at which you look at all the news announcements coming out?
Yeah. Look, I think it's a critical distinction, and it may sound like just a different word or semantics, but I actually think that we have to take off the channel lens as mobile as a device and think more about the consumer and behavior. And I think when you do that, there's some really, really interesting implications about the way that consumers are interacting with different types of experiences in places, whether that be at retail or with our with friends in a social type of environment through their personal device. And so I very much believe that it's the device is important because of the personalization, but the behavior that it drives is actually a much deeper opportunity for how brands can intersect with consumers in new and different ways that are meaningful.
So how do brands navigate the sort of multiple device paradigm we're in today, the voracious appetites for content? How do brands navigate that in this new world of being of mobility and be successful in a meaningful way?
So it's by not trying to boil the ocean and do it all right the first time. That's the bottom line. You can't expect to jump into new opportunities and do it flawlessly. I think that you have to go in with an attitude of, I want to learn. And sometimes you fail forward, and sometimes you have huge successes. I think a great example is the space of, local, location-based data. And I think there's so much rich opportunity that can be leveraged in that space, but you have to try it. You have to do something as a starting point. And I think too many have inertia of just taking that first step. So to me, that's the key, right? It's like doing something and trying something and not being afraid. And I know it seems kind of overused or oversaid, but it's never been truer than I think it is today when there's just such a huge proliferation of ways that you can reach consumers through mobile devices.
Well, it's interesting to talk about boiling the ocean. And when you think about social, local, and mobile, right, that is everything in the kitchen sink sort of today. And we as an industry almost talk about that as a buzzword and a collective of an initiative or an effort. How do you dissect that and make it approachable and create runways for brands?
So, it can either be overwhelming to the point of paralyzing, or it can be looked at as just an opportunity of recognizing that the ways that consumers can potentially interact with your brand and even, actually purchase your brand is just totally different. And so, my view is try not to look at it all at once and get paralyzed, but start to think about it as what's a unique or interesting insight about the way that a consumer is potentially using a mobile device while they're in their store to even comparison shop, or use their mobile device while at their home to play a game or to interact with their television, another screen. Think of it as just, really simple insights. Don't think that it's totally rocket science and different than the way that we've always approached the business, right? Because it's not. It's still consumers. It's just that technology and devices are changing the ways that they interact. And I think if you think of it that way, you can still then get in your comfort zone of, it's still marketing, right? It's still similar approaches to all of the ways that we've thought about consumers in the past. It's just a little more complicated in terms of device and technology and place and social and all the different applications. So you got to try a few things.
Thank you so much. I wish you a great show. Have a good week, and I hope I have a productive one as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks.